Hey, how you doing? So, just making you a quick video or audio, depending on where you are. So it's now the final week of February, and we're at that point now where we're going to be in the end of Q1 next month, and what's been achieved in the first quarter of 2021. Now, breaking it down to simple terms, you get a role, you get a candidate, you get paid. So to get the role, a set of actions take place. To get a candidate, a set of actions take place. So if we're talking strategically and we had a properly structured business, we know exactly how many clients are in our niche, exactly how many candidates are in our niche. We might break down our clients into Texas as a location or as a city. You have a decision maker role, then you might have a type of industry, etc. Then the corresponding candidates that decision maker needs, and they map across. So you might have a construction industry, covers all the USA, 50 states, each state top 50 biggest cities. Then you might have decision makers under each. Then you can then map them across to the candidates that they want if you're going to be really, really clever about this, and then build a multi 7-8 figure business. On the other hand, you may be looking to get into traction mode and get some money, get paid. So think about this. To get clients, what needs to happen? So again, if we're being strategic, we can segment our market and say, these are the clients that I want, or the roles that I want. So this is my industry, this is my location. So I've got my prospect data, I've got my prospect in my ecosystem, my prospect in my LinkedIn network. You can run a campaign. So a campaign on LinkedIn simply means sending 3 messages, an invite, an engagement message, and a sales message. So then book into a diary. That's it, 3 steps. That process, if done properly, can be adding 20 plus appointments per week into your diary. Now, to get to that 20 plus appointments per week in your diary, of course, if you say, right, I've sent out 100 invites, I've got 10 accepting me, I've sent out 10 messages, which is step 2, the engagement message. Only 1 have come back. I've sent a sales message to that person. I've got none in my diary. What's gone wrong there? Well, you might say the campaign doesn't work. But the reality is, it's probably going to come down to a factor before that. When you run a campaign, your client's going to do 2 things. They're going to check out your LinkedIn profile. They're going to check out your website. And if your website and your LinkedIn profile don't map across to what I've just said, what industry are you in? What location do you cover? What role do you deliver to, i.e. the decision makers that you service? And what candidates do you provide, i.e. the roles you provide to that decision maker? If they can't see that clearly on your LinkedIn profile, and they can't see that clearly on your website, they can't self-qualify and say, this guy, this girl, this business is in my niche. They're a specialist in my niche. So if you're running a simple campaign and you're saying it's not working, often we look at what's right in front of us. And what we don't do is take a step back. So in this simple terms, it's now Monday. What's your goal for the week? So if you want to bring in roles, you'll be taking a set of actions. Now you might not have what I would call a structured business or a process or a system, automation that works. So for example, those steps that's gone through, you could automate those if you choose to. I'm not saying you do, you shouldn't really do that on LinkedIn, but if you choose to. So the tool would then run the steps for you, but the metric would be the same. Why? Because of the message. Because the message you've sent out didn't get the result you want. Now, why did the message not get the result you want? Could go back to another step, the message on your website, the message on your LinkedIn. So this week, if you're looking to get roles this week, break it down to what actions do I need to take? And you might be being very, very process driven with this and systematic, or you might be just old school and saying, right, I'm going to pick up the phone and dial 100 people, or I'm going to send out 100 LinkedIn invites, or I'm going to do whatever your thing should be. But then break it down to, why is it not converting? Why is it not converting? Because the reality is your entire business comes down to 6 high-level dials, 6 high-level numbers. So to bring in the leads into your business, both the client lead and candidate lead, you've got the conversion piece in the middle, converting the client, converting the candidate. And thirdly, you've got the delivery piece, delivering the candidate so they get past guarantee period, and then reusing that candidate to bring in more business. So there's only 6 actual high-level numbers there. And each one of those numbers, you can only improve the volume you're putting through and improve the conversion of each point. So you can either increase the volume of leads you're getting in, or increase the conversion of leads you're getting in. Same with the conversion conversation itself with the client. If you've got 100 appointments, you can increase it to 500 appointments, or you can increase the conversion, or do both. So this week, when you're setting your plan in place for this week, just take a step back and say, right, what's my outcome here? I want to get 10 appointments. To get 10 appointments, what needs to happen? Reverse engineer it. Then if you've been doing the same thing week after week and the numbers are still not converting, then you need to take a further step back and ask, right, why is this campaign not working? So in this simple example, you could have the best message in the world, the best automation in the world. But if your website and if your LinkedIn do not convey industry, location, role for your client, the campaign won't convert. Which is why you see so much bullshit on the marketplace and this tool and that tool and whatever else you want to fill in. And that's just one component. All you're doing then is speeding up failure. You're speeding up the process to fail. So to actually get what you need, so if you're a recruitment search business owner, you need a role, you need a candidate to get into that role and pass guarantee period. That's it. But often we get lost in where I am right now, sort of taking the dog out. You can't see the wood for the trees. You can't see the wood for the trees. So this looks like I'm in some graffiti Bronx place or in the inner suburbs of London, but that behind me. Anyway, but sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees. So if you're running the same thing every week, even if you're not systematic and you're not what I would term maybe serious about your business, you should know exactly what the plan is this week. I'm going to send 500 LinkedIn invites. My acceptance rate, I need to get to 250. That means I've got 50 new connections each day. Those 50, I'm going to send out this message. When I get a response on that message, I'm going to send out this message. Now, if you did that 1 week, 2 weeks, you have a set of linear numbers. After 3 weeks, it tends to become consistent, depending on seasonal changes or industry changes. So when you got those numbers, you can then say, right, this campaign is not working for what reason? Then you take a step back. Now, I can look above this. I've done it now tens of thousands of times with members, clients over the years. But in terms of yourself, let the metrics drive your decision this week, but set a target right now. It's Monday. What is going to be the driver? I'm going to do 500 of what? Then at what point are you going to make a decision? Use the metrics you get back to make a decision on it's worked, not worked. Then what's your decision going to be? What are you going to change? Or what are you going to pull back from and look at? So if you take this out, extrapolate it across just a simple LinkedIn campaign, as I said here, in 1 week. Extrapolate that across 52 weeks just for a LinkedIn campaign. Then extrapolate that across, say, an automated email campaign across a year. Then take that extrapolation across, say, 52 weeks of client campaigns, 52 weeks of candidate campaigns, 52 weeks of authority campaigns. You can see very quickly if you fix just a couple of these dials in each one of your different drivers to bring on clients and candidates, you can get rapid changes. But what it means is you must take the information's coming in. It's a feedback loop. So if you keep running X and you keep getting into a brick wall, you need to change what you're doing. And the metrics will allow you to do it, which means you need to be systematic with your metrics. So again, just to recap, a simple LinkedIn campaign. I'm sending out these invites, sending out these messages, it's not working. It's probably nothing to do with the campaign, first of all. There's always the 3 M's. You've got the message, which in this case is the 3 messages, the invite, the engagement message, the sales message, to get the appointment in diary. That's number 1, the message. Number 2, you've got the mechanism. So the mechanism in this case is going to be used in a LinkedIn platform or maybe an automation if you're using that. And thirdly, you've got the market, i.e. who you're targeting that message to. So the combination of the message, the market and the mechanism will dictate your outcome. But usually what happens is you'll focus on one of these things without actually bringing the 3 together. So you can have the best marketing, the best automation, but if it doesn't fit the actual market you're sending it to, it's not going to work. Or you've already identified your market and you've got the best automation, the best mechanism, but the message doesn't work, it's not going to work. You always need all 3. You always need all 3. So that said, I'm going to get the little man, little dog there, poor sod's going blind. So look at the size of that stick. Try giving him a smaller stick, but he's not having it. So I'm getting back home. But I just thought I'd share these quickly while I'm ahead right now. So with that said, this week, set yourself a target for the week, metrics. But then allow yourself to take the step back and extrapolate that number across 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Then make a decision. You can't keep banging your head against a brick wall.